Good morning, I'm Danyelle Campbell and I'm here at Busby Ranch Quarter Horses in Millsap, Texas, and I'm going to go over a few of my favorite bits, their functions, mouthpieces, what different mouthpieces do to help your horse, shank length, whatsoever. I have just a few of my very expansive collection of bits here. As most barrel racers, I am a bit collector. Some women do shoes, I do bits. Maybe shoes also. But anyways, here's some of the bits I really like to use. First thing, I ride almost all my colts when I'm first starting out on the pattern in some form of an O-ring snaffle. I have one in every mouthpiece you can imagine, probably two, but this is one some people aren't real sure how they feel about. This is actually a square mouthpiece O-ring, has a stopper on it. The reason that I like this is I like a horse to be really soft, and I have soft, light hands, so I don't ever want one to brace on me or pull on me. So I want to be able to use my fingertips, get a reaction. Because of my hands being pretty soft, I've never been able to cause sores or any discomfort on a horse with this bit, but they do respect it and it keeps them soft. My biggest pet peeve is everyone riding in a smooth snaffle, having a horse push and pull and whatnot. In barrel racing, it's a speed event, so you don't have time to overcome that brace in the middle of a run. So I eliminate it in my training. So there's the square snaffle. Another thing I use a lot on young horses when I'm training, just to kind of mix things up for them, is this little, sorry, it's a little bit twisted right here. It's a C gag with a stopper in the middle. You can see it's a draw gag and slides up just a little bit. This bit is great for softening older horses as well as like switching young ones into, just to get them used to a different feel, different leverage, a sliding gag of any form. A lot of times I'll use this with draw reins or German martingales just to get a real nice break in the poll also. A variation of this is the true Loomis draw gag bit. I usually, depending on the horse, have some form of a cable or wire over the top. It kind of keeps their head down, broke at the poll. I use this in some of my training. This bit tends to have a lot of bend. Depending on the horse, you can get shoulder control, some whoa. Like I said, it just kind of depends how your horse is broke, how they respond to this. I've run a few horses in this bit, off and on, but mostly I use it for training purposes also. Moving up from there, one of my absolute favorite bits for colts and to run in is this gooseberry double gag. It's called the double gag because you can see where the mouthpiece is. It has a little gag. This is the short shank, and it's the one that I prefer even to run open horses in. I have this bit in every mouthpiece imaginable, and part of that reason is this is a little bit of a finer twist for a stronger horse, but for on my young horses, I have a big fat mouthpiece that's real soft on them, and this bit it doesn't scare one at all. It doesn't have so much gag that you don't get a quick reaction. It's just like I said, it's a great go-to bit, a step up from a snaffle, as well as something that I run a lot of open horses in. Going from there, this is a Dave Elliott bit. I love the shank on this bit. This is the long shank version of this. I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry. All of his bits. It's the Sue Smith one though. I love the amount of gag. I love how it's balanced right in the center of the shank. This bit just has a really great feel. One of the main reasons I wanted to show it to you though is the mouthpiece is a chain. And is a rule, just because some people don't know, the more breaks in a mouthpiece, the more bend you get. So I wanted to really show the chain mouthpiece, and that's generally what you would use it for, is to get more bend out of your horse. Going on the opposite end of that spectrum is another bit that I could not live without, and it is this little lifter slash stabilizer bit. This one is actually, you can see it has a Mullen mouthpiece. No breaks means a lot stiffer bit. This is the shortest shank available in this bit, and it's actually an Ed Darnell makes this particular one. This bit, anytime I have a horse that is too bendy, and I like a lot of bend, but if they're have so much bend, that they kind of lose body control or shoulder control, I will put this bit on. This is the bit I run repeat fame in, like 75% of all of her runs. So I compete in this bit, I train colts in this bit. Like this is, like I said, I could not deal without it. But notice the shank is so short. A lot of people make this bit with a longer shank. For me personally, in my hands, I get along with this length. Kind of along these same lines, but maybe not quite so stiff, this is also a Dave Elliott bit. This is called a Billy Allen mouthpiece, and I'm gonna try to hold this up here. As you can see, it doesn't break and bend straight back, yet it's still, I'm not doing a very good job, am I? It's still, you can still get lift and more pickup because it bends right here at the junction in the center, but it's not like a dog bone that can bend straight back. So this will kind of be your in-between between a twist and the mullen I showed you earlier. I also love the shank on this bit. Notice there's no gag, but the mouthpiece sits right in the center, meaning the shank under the mouthpiece and the purchase above are the same length. This bit just has a great feel, a lot of balance. Another version of this that I ride and really like with different mouthpieces is actually Brittany Posey's bits that Professional Choice makes. So that's an option for you as well on that. But again, I can run a horse in this. I can work a young horse in this. Most everything I use is, something I can run and work young horses in. The other bit that I kind of keep on hand and don't use a lot but might be important is this is a Tom Balding. Just a nice little, kind of little roper type bit, just got a curb bit, but it breaks. This is obviously not my typical barrel racing bit for good feel in that, but if I ever need to work on a little bit of rate or just get a different feel in a horse, this is what I'm gonna put on. So I really believe in, when you train young horses, you wanna switch. I like to switch bits a lot, mostly for my own entertainment, to see what they feel like, but I feel like it's a good thing to switch bits, get them used to different things, different feels. You learn more about your horse. And for me, I never know when I'm gonna be at a big futurity and get in a situation where I have to switch bits, whether the ground requires me to do something to have a different feel or my horse develops an issue I need to work on. I don't want anything to be foreign for them. So I really, I'll put bits in, even if I'm at home training and I put one on that they don't particularly like, I'm gonna go ahead and get through the day with that bit and just teach them to work through it. And I find that a lot when I first start putting any form of bit with slide or gag, that draws up on them. A lot of young horses aren't used to that. It scares them at first, but for me, they need to get through that because they need to learn how to accept it, because there might come a day when I need to do that. Along those lines, I generally don't use tie downs or any form of head restraints. However, I might put one on occasionally when they're 3 for the exact same reason. You never know when it might become a necessity at some point, so I want them to know how to accept it and be used to it. So like I said, this is a very, very small portion of a huge collection and addiction that I have, but this is part of it. This is another one, a mullen mouthpiece. I'll show you real quick. I believe L&W made this. Right now it has my running martingales hooked up to it. Very simple, very light, mullen mouth. Again, I work a lot of young horses in this setup. I work my older horses in this. I just think sometimes it's good to take the, the twisted mouths that we're used to off of a horse, and this really helps control their body and stabilize their shoulders. So those are the ones I brought to show you today, and kind of part of my everyday arsenal right here. This is my toolbox. Hope you guys enjoy it.